Hello, Menno van Dam. Thanks for joining us here on Viaplay Sport News.
Hi.
First of all, the most recent story about AaB is, of course, that yesterday they got relegated. For you, as a former coach of this AaB team, how did you feel yesterday when you saw the Aalborg team get relegated?
Yeah, I saw actually the game over here. Yeah, it hurts. I can't lie, but I also don't want to be an emotional person. But yeah, there came a small tear about after the whistle when I saw my old players lay down on the ground. I know what it means for the people, for AaB. I know what it means for the whole city. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts.
So you actually, you cried and shed some tears regarding the relegation yesterday.
Yeah, of course. The people meant a lot for me. I worked really nice with the players. I know what it means for the players. I know what it means for the people over there. Yeah, that's you want to succeed. You want to achieve the task what we wanted and to stay in the league. And yeah, and it went really fast. You were so close to a good result, and I think in 10 minutes you're relegated.
And Menno van Dam, you had almost a year as a head coach in Aalborg. Can you try to describe that year for us? How did you feel about the job in Aalborg in general?
In general, I really enjoyed the daily interaction with the players and the staff, helping a young, talented group to grow and perform, and of course, working in a club with so much tradition and ambition as AaB. It was an honor to be over there in the period I was over there.
Do you feel you got to show the surroundings what kind of coach you are? Because you came from youth football in Brøndby, obviously. So not many people maybe know you did know you when you got the job in AaB. But did you show the world which kind of coach you are?
Of course, I was 2 years in Brøndby where I felt really home, and it's also an amazing club where I had such a nice time. But then you get a call to become if I wanted to become the head coach of AaB, and then you come in job interviews, and I have just present who I am as a coach, who I think about playing football, who I think about to make players individual better, and based on that interviews, they have choose me to become the coach, and that is also how I wanted to play with AaB, and then experience of not if I would hire somewhere else, I did the same because this is me how I wanted to play, and that is a coach what I'm looking for, and yeah, and I think some moments definitely we played some really good matches.
Yeah, can you try, because we're gonna talk about the lows, of course, but the highs also. The year you had in Aalborg. When did you feel that you were on the right track in AaB?
If you see before the fall, we had a streak from I think a lot of matches where we didn't lose, and that we even so small in victories that we I know of 3 games in a row in the last 5 minutes that we play a draw instead of winning, and that is football. It's so small in details, and then it can go so fast in career, in points, in tables. So yeah, that's I think it was a small marches in that time, but definitely in the end of the before the winter, we had a really good streak with good matches, good football, close to victories. So yeah, in that period, it was the best period.
Yeah, you had some good results in the fall, but when you comes to this spring, the downfall started for AaB. Can you try to explain for us, Menno van Dam, what happened this spring since the decline of AaB was so obvious?
Of course, we had a really tough program with all the top 6 teams in that period from us, where we started with a big collapse, and afterwards, we didn't win the games. We had only the draw against Copenhagen. and we had nog a big loss against Silkeborg. But we were also really close in moments. We were really close in the moments that you win the game against Copenhagen, that you could win the game against Lyngby. But that is football. Everything is so close. And but in the end, I'm fully responsible for the points on the pitch. And I take also that responsibility. And we didn't. In that moment, I think we didn't win too much points on the pitch.
Did it become a mental problem for the players when the results start to not show up?
Look, that is human. That was also the reason why I didn't want to talk about relegation, because we were so ambitious. We wanted too much. We wanted also to survive in the Superliga, and we had a style of play in that one. What the players also embraced, how they wanted to play, and with even more pressure. With talking about relegations, that can become a mental issue, and I want to protect the squad always in that way. So. But that the game wasn't pressure for the guys in speed, in choices, in adapting. That was an fact, and that is also why we talked about.
If you look at the squad, Menno van Dam, after the relegation, the obvious question is, of course, was there enough quality in the AaB squad this season to avoid relegation?
I definitely believe that they could stay in the league, because look, the oldest players, you cannot say that they are really experienced, and the rest was really young. So I think about quality. I think it was a squad with a lot of potentials, and so in that way, quality. I still believe that they have quality, but it was a lot of potentials, and that cost time.
Yes, but in the end, was it then the key? Was it that the squad was too young? Because you say the quality was there, but it's also a mental game, as we spoke about earlier. So was it a question about age that got the team relegated?
I don't want to mark things on the players. Look, I was also the coach, and I was fully responsible for that. I always was in dialogue with my staff, with the players, with the management about the issues from what can we improve, what do we need right now. So in that way, I took decisions, and to mark now the player with quality enough or not. I knew there was a big difference what we saw on the training pitch and in the game. And it was a group who really wants to work really hard and did everything what they could to succeed for this club. And the games, that was a part that they became really stressed and there was some pressure on. But it also was so small again. I repeat it again. There was so many games that we also were really close to a victory. And if we had... that doesn't count. But if you get 6 more points, then you was now in another position. But it's football.
Yeah, you had the youngest team in the Superliga, but if you look at the reactions yesterday on the back of the relegation, many people, our experts at Onside, example, they are pointing the fingers at the leadership in Aalborg, not on you and not Christopher Wichmann, the new coach, but the leadership, because there was, of course, experience available. Rasmus Talander was not used. Niklas Helenius has not been used, except here at the end when he came in and scored some goals. So there was some kind of experience. Many people are thinking that Rasmus Talander is out of the club because you didn't want to bring him, or was it the leadership that didn't want to bring him? And the same you can say about Niklas Helenius. Was it your decision not to bring Niklas Helenius, or was it a leadership, or was it the board's decision not to use those kind of players?
Nah, I don't want to go too deep in that. I think the case of the Lander, that was quite clear already in the early of the season, and he hasn't played one league match for AaB. So in that way, the output in the end is not his, and I'm really happy for us that he had played many matches in the Superliga. The only thing what I can talk about was Helenius, and I saw also a really good striker, but I want to use him, but then he must be fit. And in my period in AaB, when he was over there, he struggles a lot with injuries. The last test match, it started the last test match before the league against Viborg. He became injured, is weeks out, come back. So he actually was almost never fit. And when he was fit, we have also used him. And he even started against Copenhagen. So in that way, I saw also the quality of Hele. I talk a lot with Hele, and Hele was really, really helpful for the squad with his experience and how he played to the play. So I really enjoyed to work with Hele. And I also believed him. And you see his quality in the last matches, and the moment when we wanted to use him, when he was fit, I was not there anymore.
So the reason why Helenius didn't play under you was mainly because he was not physically in shape to play for your team.
Yeah. That was the fact.
And if you look at the reaction toward the leadership, there's no. They are, of course, they have some heavy wages, and you have the. If you look at the leadership, they have some strong suggestions that they have to save the money and use it on younger players. So did you have the total freedom to choose which player you want to play with?
Look, the only thing what I can say is I have worked really closely with the board and with the staff. I saw really hardworking people. I was really early at the club, and I left really late at the club because I always was busy with how can we improve, what can we do, meetings with the academy and everything. And that's also what I saw from James and Julius. They gave everything for the club. When the board was over there, we always had good talks about what can we do. And I actually have given the board also a compliment how actually close they want to be to the club. So in that way, I can only say that I saw really hard-working people who wants to give the effort for the club, and that was the same what the staff did and what I did, and also what we saw on the pitch, on the training pitch, and in the games with the players. Because don't forget that it starts with hard working. And when I left the club, we were in the top 3 of the most intensity of the games. So that means that they give a lot of what they have to give it on the pitch.
So when you look at the leadership going forwards, because if people in Aalborg are a little bit concerned about the future of Aalborg, are the club in good hands?
I see a lot of young talent players who played now in the first team, and that is a vision and that is a strategy of the club. And you can agree with that or not agree with that, but it is a vision. And if they speak out that vision, you must accept it. And in that way, I think to give young players from the academy in the region a chance in the first team, I think in my time, 6 players make the debut from the academy, and yesterday Bunde came. So in one season, 7 players. Now tell me which Superliga club has brought 7 academy players in 1 year in the first team. I think AaB is the only one. So in that way, there is a vision and strategy.
If you look at the time before you got the sacking, the board decision, you're not continuing in Aalborg after the Easter period. How did you receive the message that you're going to be sacked in AaB?
James texted me after the Sunderland match that if I could go to the trainers ground, and then I get the message over there, and that was an emotional, because I give my whole heart and soul in the job. I feel connected with the club, with the group, with the fans. Actually, I love to live in Aalborg, so it was my first head coach job, so it means a lot for me. But I am not bigger than the club. And if every decision what makes, if that is, they think that the club becomes better from that, I will respect that.
Were you surprised to get the message? Because prior to that, James Gow had said to us that you were not in question of being sacked. So were you a little bit surprised? Did you feel you have more to offer in the end of the season?
I I had still the convinced that we were what we saw on the training pitch, that we could continue it and end it on a good way. So in that way, I would have believed in a good end.
When we spoke to Christopher Wichmann after the relegation yesterday, he said that they got not relegated yesterday because it was from the whole season they were relegated also under you. What was the total amount of points AaB has collected after you got sacked is only 1 point in 4 games. So is he right that you are part of the responsibility too, or can you say that maybe he was not looking at his own job, but looking more like the situation in the club before he came?
My vision is always that you must protect the values of the club, and a big value of Aalborg and AaB is Relegation. So in that way, we did it together, and that is in Relegation, and I was part of this journey to here. So in that way, I think we do it together. But I get only the message that I'm not a head coach anymore when I left the club. 4 points above the relegation. I say that the relegation place.
But are you surprised that the outcome of your sacking has only been 1 point in 4 games afterwards?
I know. I cannot judge it because I don't know how they work. I think that they still work really hard and really, and that is what I really mean. I hope that Christopher will really succeed in this fantastic club because nobody is bigger than the club, and I hope that Christopher will bring him back in the Super League and that he will succeed in AaB.
Yeah, we can try to take a look at some of the pictures from yesterday when the relegation was in fact was inevitable that Aalborg was going to be relegated. You said in the start that you shed some tears because you saw some players, giving the best. How was it again for you to see the reaction from the players?
Even if I see it hits, then it hurts. A lot of people come to the stadium and watch the games, and what an amazing crowd has AaB in home games and in away games, and they're so ambitious. But I work them every day with them. I have talks in my office with players, how they feel, they share things. So it's way more than only the game on Saturday about the players. And if you know that, then it hurts so much to see some players like this, or that you read some comments about players, then you think van, that guy don't deserve that kind of critique, because I know what for person it is and what he does to try to succeed for AaB.
And looking forward now, Menno van Dam, you are out of job. I know you're taking your coaching license and you're trying to get better every day. But what is the next step for you? Are you searching actually for a job right now, or are you just taking a breather?
No, I'm right now in Portugal. I needed to go 3 to 4 days abroad to visit the club for my pro license. So I was in a club here in Estoril in Portugal. I extended with 2 days to really reflect myself from the experience to make things ready, recharge, have some calls, and also it's maybe in bad timing to have this interview today, but we planned it our way ahead after the things. But I love to be on the pitch. That is the place where you can wake me up to smell the grass, to make players better. Hopefully I will be soon back on the pitch and on the place where I want to be and where I want to succeed.
Do you have any options right now? Because this is season for the big coach turnaround, because many clubs are looking forward to the next season. Do you have anything on the table right now in front of you?
Right now in front of me on the table is the laptop to have this conversation with you, but no, there is nothing concrete right now. Hopefully soon will come something, and so I can now also use this time wisely to have some time with my kids, to definitely reflect. And if nothing comes, then I will definitely make a path to go visit a lot of clubs and coaches to become a better coach, and to prepare myself even better on the next job.
Are you open for working again in Denmark? You're working in youth football. Now you have had senior experience as a head coach in AaB. Are you open for another job in Denmark?
Nah. Look, I was so happy in Denmark. I felt really home in Brøndby. What an amazing period I had over there in that time. And then I get an totally other side of Denmark. I come in Aalborg, where even of the mentality is a little bit different. But I grew to the club, to the city. When sometimes my family asks, Menno, have you ever come back to Holland? I say, I don't know. I love to be over here. So yeah, I'm definitely open to work in Denmark or Scandinavia again, because I love the mentality. I love the football culture, the fans, the fan base. So yeah, I'm open for that, but I'm also adventurous. So if something else is coming, I'm open for everything. But I must have a good feeling with it, where I can in my philosophy, on a long term, with a group who can grow, who wants to play offensive. If that fits, if that feels good, then I can and have a good feeling, and I would definitely step in.
And here in the end, what do you think people will remember Menno van Dam from when we look back in the history books, namely the people up in Aalborg?
I also want to maybe in this way thank you, because it went so fast. I even could say goodbye to all the people in the club, because the day after was already the focus on the next one. But thank you for the amazing time in Aalborg, and not only the player group and the management, but don't forget the people in the office who try to have the daily basis to sell the club to sponsorships or make best programs. It's amazing people over there, and the fans. Yeah, I think I had a really strong connection with them, and when I get from a player a picture that they invite me always, they're always welcome in bar. I don't say it because if I say it in the wrong Danish dialect, then is the red is something else in Danish. So the red bar. Yeah, thank you for that, and I hope that this fans and this club come back to the level where they must be.
But can it comfort you at the end that when you see AaB before and after you got sacked, that you are not the problem, but maybe the problem is somewhere else in the organization?
I would reflect every game, every week, every month from what we do on short term, mid term, but also in long term, and I also think that the club will do that. So definitely they have. How I know them, they have also talk about this scenario they run through. So with the reflections, what they do, and really, I think that the people who right now is involved with the club has really a heart for the club. That is my experience. So in that way, I'm not concerned that they will do everything to get it back.